On the morning of March 4th, 2019, the small town of Harlow Creek woke up to an ordinary Tuesday. The diner opened at 6. The school bus ran on time. The hardware store propped its door open at 8:30, just like every other day. But Mara Voss wasn't there. She hadn't been seen since 3:07 a.m. And the strangest part? The town didn't seem surprised. Welcome to Cold Frequency, where we pull cold cases back into the light. I'm going to walk you through the complete story of Mara Voss, what we know, what was overlooked, and the question that still has no answer. Stay until the end. The last piece of evidence changes everything. Mara Voss was 24 years old. She'd grown up in Harlow Creek, a town of about 8,000 people tucked into the valley between two mountain ridges in rural Wyoming. The kind of place where everyone knows your name, your parents' names, and which pew you sit in on Sunday. By all accounts, Mara was quiet, thoughtful. She worked the early shift at the Harlow Creek Diner, took online accounting courses in the evenings, and was saving money to move to Denver by the following spring. Her co-worker and closest friend, Dana, described her this way in a later interview, and I'm paraphrasing here. She said Mara had a plan. She always had a plan. She wasn't the kind of person who just disappeared. But she did. On the night of March 3rd, Mara finished her shift at 10 p.m. Security footage from the diner shows her leaving through the back entrance, alone, at 10:14 p.m. At 11:32 p.m., she texted Dana. The message read, "He came in again tonight. I need to talk to you tomorrow." Dana sent back a thumbs up. She'd assumed it was about a difficult customer. She told investigators she didn't think twice about it. There is no further documented activity on Mara's phone after 11:32 p.m. At 3:07 a.m., and this is the detail that investigators keep returning to, a motion-activated trail camera on the eastern edge of Harlow Creek captured a single frame. An image, a figure, walking alone, heading toward Route 9. The image was grainy. The timestamp is the only thing we can be certain of. When Dana arrived at Mara's apartment the next morning, after Mara failed to show for her shift, the door was unlocked. The lights were off. Mara's coat was still on the hook. Her keys were on the kitchen counter. Police were called at 8:42 a.m. on March 4th. Here is where the case starts to unravel. The initial responding officer filed a report classifying Mara's absence as a voluntary departure. She was an adult. There was no sign of forced entry, no blood, no witness to a struggle. But Dana pushed back immediately. She told officers about the text, about "he came in again tonight," about the fact that Mara had mentioned weeks earlier that a man had been following her route home from the diner. That information was logged. It was not acted upon for 11 days. By the time investigators revisited the diner's customer records, looking for the individual Mara may have been referring to, 14 days of footage had already been overwritten by the security system. 14 days. Gone. Here is the part of Mara's case that I cannot stop thinking about. When Dana entered the apartment that morning, she noticed something the police report barely mentions, a single line buried in paragraph 4. On the kitchen table, next to Mara's keys, was a folded piece of paper. It wasn't a note, it wasn't a letter. It was a receipt from the diner. Date-stamped February 28th, 4 days before she disappeared. A table of 2, paid in cash. Mara didn't take receipts home. Dana confirmed this. The receipt was not from Mara's section. Someone put it there, and we still don't know who or why. As of the time this video was published, Mara Voss has not been found. The case remains open. The identity of the person Mara referred to in her final text has never been confirmed. The receipt has never been publicly explained. If you have information about a missing person in your area, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NamUs.gov, is a free, searchable database where you can report or search cases. What do you think happened? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. If this case got to you, subscribe. Next week, we're going deeper. The next case is older, colder, and closer to a city you know.